The power went out 3 days ago. Not just your house, the entire grid. No electricity, no internet, no phones, no way to call for help. By day 2, your neighbor knocked on your door, not asking, demanding. He knows you have supplies. He watched you unload groceries last week. He's got his teenage son with him. They're not leaving empty-handed. You tell them you don't have enough to share. He doesn't believe you. His hand rests on something in his jacket. The conversation changes. You're not negotiating anymore. You're calculating. Can you take him? Is his son a threat? What are you willing to do to protect what's yours? You think you'd find a peaceful solution. Share. Compromise. Talk it out like civilized people. You're lying to yourself, because by day 3, you're already thinking about which neighbors are weak, which houses have supplies, what force you're willing to use. That's not society breaking down. That's society removed. And what's left is what you actually are. You're a monster. You always have been. The only difference between you and the person who'd kill for a can of food is opportunity. You haven't been forced to choose yet, but the capacity is there, waiting, and it doesn't take much to activate it. Thomas Hobbes knew this in 1651. He watched his world tear itself apart in civil war, saw neighbors murder neighbors over politics and religion, watched civilization collapse into chaos, and he didn't write about how to make people better. He wrote about how to keep them from destroying each other because he understood something most people refuse to accept. You're not good by nature. You're a barely restrained animal operating under the constant threat of consequences. Here's what Hobbes said. In the natural state, before government, before law, before the social contract that keeps you in line, human life is solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. Because without authority to enforce rules, you're at war. With everyone. All the time. War of all against all. Not because you're evil, because you're human, and humans are survival machines willing to do whatever it takes to stay alive. You don't want to believe this. You think you're different, moral, civilized, good. You donate to charity, you help strangers. You follow rules even when no one's watching. That makes you virtuous, right? Wrong. You're not good because you choose to be. You're good because you're afraid of what happens if you're not. Every moral choice you make is a calculation. Every act of kindness is self-interest wearing a mask. Strip away the consequences and you'll discover what you actually are. Watch what happens when authority disappears. Natural disasters, riots, blackouts, wars. The thin veneer of civilization cracks in hours. Looting starts immediately. Violence follows. Not because bad people finally get their chance, because normal people stop pretending. The guy who helps old ladies cross the street is smashing windows by nightfall. The woman who volunteers at homeless shelters is hoarding supplies and threatening anyone who gets close. They're not transforming into monsters. They're revealing what was always there. Hurricane Katrina, earthquake in Haiti, LA riots. Every single time authority weakens, humans show you what they are, and it's not pretty. You watched the footage. You saw ordinary people beating strangers for groceries, saw neighbors turning on each other. Saw the speed at which please and thank you became, give me that or I'll take it. 72 hours. That's all it takes. 3 days without consequences, and humans revert to what they've always been. Violent, selfish, ruthless. You think you'd be different. You wouldn't. Because you're not special. You're not uniquely moral. You're subject to the same survival instincts as everyone else. And when survival is on the line, morality disappears. It has to, because morality is a luxury of safety. Remove the safety, and the luxury goes with it. Here's the uncomfortable part. You know this is true. You've felt it. Road rage that made you want to hurt someone over a parking spot. Fury at a coworker that had you fantasizing about violence. Jealousy so intense you wanted someone to suffer. Those aren't aberrations. They're glimpses of what lives under the surface. The monster you keep controlled through fear of consequences, fear of jail, fear of social judgment, fear of retaliation. Remove those fears and that thing comes out, fast. Hobbes called the solution the Leviathan, a powerful authority that keeps you in check through the threat of force. You surrendered your natural freedom to do whatever you want in exchange for protection from everyone else doing whatever they want to you. That's the social contract. You gave up the right to kill for what you need. In return, you got the assurance that others can't kill you for what they need. You think that's oppression. It's not. It's the only thing keeping you alive. Because here's what most people don't understand. The Leviathan isn't controlling you. It's protecting everyone from you, and you from everyone else. You need to be controlled. We all do. Not because we're evil, because we're human. And humans with unlimited freedom create unlimited chaos. Think about your daily life. Traffic laws keep you from driving however you want. Property laws keep others from taking what's yours. Criminal laws keep people from killing you when they're angry. You obey these not because you're good, because you fear punishment, the speeding ticket, the jail sentence, the social consequences. Remove those and watch what happens. You've seen it. When cops aren't around, people run red lights. When security cameras are broken, theft increases. When punishment becomes unlikely, crime spikes. People don't behave because they're moral. They behave because they're monitored. You hate this idea. It conflicts with your self-image. You want to believe you're good, that you'd do the right thing even without consequences. But you wouldn't. Nobody would. Because doing the right thing when it costs you something requires overriding your survival instinct. And your survival instinct is stronger than your moral reasoning. It has to be, because without it, you die. Here's the proof. You've already made that calculation. Multiple times, you saw someone in need and didn't help because it would cost you time or money or comfort. You knew the right thing to do. You didn't do it, not because you're bad, because the cost outweighed the benefit and there was no consequence for walking away. You made a survival calculation, and survival won, like it always does when the stakes are real. This is what Hobbes understood. Humans aren't corrupted by society, they're restrained by it. The savage isn't created by civilization, he's contained by it. Remove the container, and he emerges immediately, not as a transformation, as a revelation of what was always there. You don't have to go back to disasters to see this. Look at how people behave online. Anonymity is just another form of removed consequences. No face, no name, no way to punish you for what you say. And what do people do? They reveal the monster, the cruelty, the hatred, the violence. The same person who's polite in person becomes vicious online. Not because the internet corrupted them, because the internet removed the consequences that normally keep them in check. Or look at power. What happens when people gain power over others? When they become the authority instead of subject to it? Stanford prison experiment. Ordinary college students given guard roles became sadistic in days. Milgram experiment. Normal people electrocuted strangers because an authority figure told them to. Abu Ghraib. Regular soldiers committed atrocities when accountability disappeared. The monster doesn't need to be created. It needs permission. Give humans power without consequences, and they'll show you what they are. But here's where it gets darker. You don't even need removed consequences. You just need the belief that you won't get caught. How many people cheat on taxes, lie on resumes, steal from employers when they think nobody's watching? The only thing stopping you from doing what benefits you at others' expense is the probability of getting caught. Morality doesn't enter the equation. Cost-benefit analysis does. Will the reward outweigh the risk? That's the only question that matters. And you make that calculation constantly. This is why Hobbes said the Leviathan must be absolute. Not because humans need to be crushed, because they need to be certain that violation brings punishment. The moment that certainty wavers, behavior changes. Crime increases in areas with low police presence, not because criminals move in, because regular people start calculating differently. The risk decreased. The potential reward stayed the same. The math changed. So did behavior. You're doing this calculation right now, about small things, whether to merge without signaling, whether to take the parking spot someone else was waiting for, whether to lie to avoid confrontation. You're not thinking, am I a good person who does right thing? You're thinking, what are the chances I face consequences for this? And you act accordingly. That's not morality, that's risk management. This is what Hobbes was trying to tell you. You're not a moral agent making free choices based on virtue. You're a survival machine making calculated choices based on threat assessment. Everything you do is filtered through one question. What serves my survival and interests with acceptable risk? When that calculation says cooperate, you cooperate. When it says take, you take. When it says hurt, you hurt. You're not choosing good over evil. You're choosing safe over dangerous. And this is why you need the Leviathan. Not to make you good, to make the calculation favor cooperation. When the cost of taking is guaranteed punishment, you don't take. Not because you're moral, because you're rational. You want to survive. And survival means avoiding consequences. The Leviathan doesn't change what you are. It changes what you can get away with. And in doing so, it creates the illusion of civilization. Because that's all civilization is. An illusion maintained by force. You're not civilized, you're controlled. The moment that control weakens, you revert. Instantly. You've seen it. You know it's true, but you keep pretending it's not. because accepting what you are means accepting what everyone else is, and that's terrifying. If everyone's a monster barely held in check, what happens when the check fails? Hobbes knew, war of all against all, every person a threat to every other person. Life becomes about survival, not flourishing. You can't build, can't trust, can't plan for a future, because there is no future beyond the next threat. That's the natural state. That's what you are without the Leviathan. Not free, not noble, not virtuous, desperate, violent, short-lived. You don't want to go back to that. Nobody does. So you accept the control, you surrender freedom for security, and you convince yourself it's a choice. It's not. It's survival. You need the Leviathan, because without it, you're not safe from others, and others aren't safe from you. The monster in you requires the monster over you. That's the only equation that works. Here's the part that makes you uncomfortable. The Leviathan isn't hypothetical. It's operating right now. Every time you obey a law you disagree with, you're acknowledging its power. Every time you don't take what you want because you fear punishment, you're proving Hobbes right. You're not good, you're restrained, and the restraint is the only thing between you and the monster. You've been lying to yourself about what you are, telling yourself stories about morality and virtue and human goodness. Those are comfortable lies. They make you feel better about being controlled. They make the cage seem like a choice. But it's not a choice, it's necessity. You're a monster. You always have been. The only thing that's changed is the strength of the cage. Some of you will reject this. Claim you're different. Insist you'd maintain morality even without consequences. You're wrong. And deep down, you know it, because you've already failed that test multiple times, in small ways, when nobody was watching. When you thought you could get away with it. When the benefit outweighed the risk, you chose yourself over others. You chose survival over morality. You chose the monster. Hobbes wasn't pessimistic. He was honest. He looked at human nature without the comfortable lies, without the self-serving narratives, and he saw what you are. Survival machines willing to do whatever it takes. Not evil, not good, just human. And humans need to be controlled, not by tyranny, by certainty. Certainty that violation brings consequences. That's all that keeps the monsters from tearing each other apart. You're not controlled by the Leviathan. You're protected by it, from everyone else, and from yourself. Because left to your own devices, you'd choose survival over everything else. You'd take what you need, remove threats preemptively, hurt people to protect yourself. You just haven't been forced to make that choice yet. The power's still on. The police still respond. The laws still function. The cage still holds. But you felt it. During the pandemic, when supplies ran low and people started hoarding, when masks became scarce and neighbors turned on each other, when rules weakened and behavior changed, you saw the monster in others. And if you're honest, in yourself, that wasn't society breaking. That was society cracking, just enough to see what's underneath. Humans are monsters, not sometimes, not conditionally, always. The monster is what you are. Civilization is what you're pretending to be. And the gap between those two things is maintained by one force, the threat of consequences. Remove that threat and you'll drop the pretense in hours, maybe minutes, because the pretense is exhausting. The monster is effortless. It's what you actually are. You're not good. You never were. You're a predator convinced you're prey. A wolf in sheep's clothing you put on yourself. And you'll wear that costume as long as the cost of removing it exceeds the benefit. The moment that calculus changes, the costume comes off. And what's underneath isn't noble or virtuous or civilized. It's exactly what Hobbes said it was. Nasty, brutish, and willing to do whatever it takes to survive one more day. That's not a moral failing. It's human nature. The question isn't whether you're a monster. You are. The question is whether you can accept what that means, that every moment of apparent goodness is backed by the threat of consequences, that every act of kindness is self-interest in disguise, that you need the Leviathan not despite what you are, but because of it. Hobbes was right. You're a monster. You always have been. And the only thing stopping you from acting like one is the certainty that monsters get caged. Accept it, because pretending otherwise just makes you a monster who doesn't know what he is. And that's the most dangerous kind.